use a messy mind. Think I need to help you, I'm gonna try. Cute as hell, baby, hotter than flames. Wanna burn together in a million ways. Now let me take the lead. Know you wanna play with me. Got secrets you might wanna see. You might wanna see. You might wanna. I know I'm not gonna regret this. Wanna get reckless, put you to the test, yeah. I know I'm not gonna regret this. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. Couldn't keep your poker face. Before you kept me waiting when I wanted to race. Sweet as hell, baby, you're a sugar rush. I knew you were given temptation, was craving. You love it, you hate it. Now let me take the lead. Know you wanna play with me. Got secrets you might wanna see. You might wanna see. You might wanna. Lock the door, zip it off. Kiss my neck when you want more. Scream your name deep in the night. Work your way around my thighs. Explore my hips, my tongue.
What's the story, WWE fans? Tonight's topics on the Wrestle Story include
The Kabuki Warriors have arrived.
Kofi, the new host of the KO show.
A new match announced for Money in the Bank.
All that and more on tonight's Wrestle Story. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after Smackdown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view. We also do special prediction shows prior to the pay-per-views.
Always, we'll be doing one this Friday for Money in the Bank, which is on Sunday. Really, really excited.
And Scott, we always look forward to NXT because it
Always.
seems to be the best show that WWE puts out there right now.
Yeah, last week I was kind of trashing NXT. I was like, oh, it's kind of one of the weaker NXT we've had. And then I was like, it was the best show of the week, so you kind of talked me into it. So, yeah, we always look forward to NXT, and that'll be exciting to watch tomorrow. But tonight, well, actually, first, let's start with yesterday. So yesterday,
We had some
not even
streaming issues.
we're not even going to say the I word, okay? Because it's going to shut everything down. So, yesterday we had issues, and so we're going to recap Raw and Smackdown. We got a little bit through the show, but not too far. So, we're going to kind of briefly recap the beginning and then finish recapping the end because we didn't get a chance to. So, we're doing that, and then we're also talking about Smackdown tonight. So, we'll start with that. We'll start with Raw. So, Raw opened with Roman and Miz on Miz TV, and that was exciting. You'll never guess who opened the show tonight on SmackDown, but we'll get to that. So Miz asks him, what to expect from his match on Sunday, and he's like, well, I'm going to beat down Elias. The whole time he's getting walk with Elias chants, which I thought was really funny, and he talked about how Elias was, he hasn't proven himself at all in WWE. He hasn't done anything. So he was like, I don't understand why y'all like him so much because he hasn't done anything. And then Miz gets pumped for his match on Sunday because he started talking like some smack, like the old Miz to Roman, and Roman was like, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to talk to the old Miz. I want to talk to the new Miz who last week chased Shane McMahon around the building with a steel chair. And he was like, all right then. Then he got pumped up for his match. And he says, I may not be the fastest, biggest, or strongest. I was never fed with a silver spoon. I worked and fought for everything I've gotten, and Shane isn't going to be able to put me away on Sunday. There's no protection for him, nobody to help him out, and I'm going to rip him limb from limb. Then Shane's music hits, tells him that Miz TV is over, and then Elias and Bobby Lashley proceed to attack them from behind after that. Super exciting. You know, Bobby Lashley, got to get in the mix somewhere, right?
Well, they seem to use Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin quite a bit.
Yeah, and not even in good ways. They use them as, like, Goonies, which I don't love.
No, again, right now the issue WWE has is there's no storylines. They create nothing. They put no suspense out there.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff week in, week out. And if they want ratings to change, they really need to start taking a look at what they're doing with their storylines.
I mean, they really do. It's a statement. It's a true statement. Then Shane announces that there will be a tag team match next, Elias and Bobby Lashley versus Roman and Miz. And so we get that, and then Shane gets involved. That match ends in a DQ, and Roman then lays waste to Elias and Lashley. Then we get a match promo for Money in the Bank for Seth and AJ. Boy, oh boy, S's are hard. I had this issue. See, too many S's. Can't speak with S's. I had this issue yesterday with S's. So we had that. It's cool, you know, pumping up that match. Then we have a recap of last week when Braun threw Sammy in a dumpster. We tried to get an interview with Braun, and he gets asked, you know, do you regret throwing Sammy in the dumpster? And he was like, no. Why would I? He's a fool. He deserved it. And then he gets told by the bearer of bad news, who always brings bad news every time bad news is about to happen. This guy comes around, and he's like, oh, Shane wants to see you in his office. Then we get Sammy backstage with Shane, and he's telling Shane that WWE is a toxic environment, and his career could have been over, or worse, I could have been killed. Then Braun comes in and says, oh, I get it. I was called to the principal's office because of you. And then Shane tells him that tonight we will see Braun versus Sammy in a Falls Count Anywhere match, and the winner is in Money in the Bank. When previously, Braun Strowman had already been chosen like 3 weeks ago to be in the Money in the Bank match, but things changed.
Well, I've said I'm cool with these matches to determine who gets in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
But they should have been doing these like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not now.
Yeah, especially with Money in the Bank being on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a little late for that. Then we get a match between Mojo Rawley and Apollo Crews, and Mojo Rawley has like the face paint stuff with the veins or whatever. Curious to see what he's doing with that. You know, not anything too crazy there. Mojo gets the win. Super duper nice for him. You know, I think it's his first match on Raw like that's been televised like recently.
Yeah.
And he got the win, so that was good. Then we get an Alexa Bliss backstage. She's on the phone talking about how she lost her luggage and how her wrestling gear was in there and how is she going to wrestle. She was made to look like a fool 2 weeks ago when she faced Naomi, and her shoes fell off, and she just can't do it. And then Nikki Cross comes up, asks her how she's doing, and, you know, she's like, well, I can't wrestle my gear, you know? And Nikki says, well, you should go to the McMahons and tell them what's happening and get a replacement for you. She says, Alexa goes, oh, you do that for me? You do that for me? I'll go tell them that you're going to take my place tonight in the Fatal 4-Way. So, you know, that happened. Cool. Then we get the contract signing between Lacey, Charlotte, and Becky. Michael Cole's out there. He asks Becky, do you know how hard it is, or how hard it will be to defend both titles on Sunday? Becky says, you know, she looks at both blondes and is like, I gotta figure out which one's Lacey. She figures out which one's Lacey, and she says, Lacey, you're gonna have to back everything up. You've been telling me for the last several weeks that, you know, you're a good wrestler, and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other thing. And then she says, why don't you ask your twin sister, Charlotte, how hard it is to beat me? And then Charlotte tells Becky that she's being pathetic, letting her ego and pride get in the way. Lacey tells us she's here to class up the women's division. And then Becky signs the contracts. Then Lacey tells Becky that she'll be sorry for taking on both of the classiest ladies in WWE. I said this yesterday. I said that statement, she didn't trash Charlotte, which makes me think that they're going to do a tag team thing in the future because they're super similar.
I think it's possible.
Just because she didn't trash on Charlotte. Because she's trashed on every other person in the women's division. Last week when she had the 4 who were in the Money in the Bank match, she trashed on all 4 of them. And then she's done it to Becky the last several weeks. But she didn't to Charlotte.
Yeah, it would not shock me.
Why would that be? Anybody know? Probably because they're going to do a tag team thing.
This promo I didn't think was necessary. Again, we have its
The
contract
signing?
Yeah, the whole contract signing. Ends up, with basically...
Becky going through a table.
Yeah.
So sad. Not what anybody wanted to see, but
But think about all the contract signings they've done. The same thing happens, It ends up with this fight.
With somebody
getting through a table. So it's like a pointless thing. We already knew the match was going to happen, so it was pointless having it. It was a time filler because apparently they don't know how to write storylines and involve other wrestlers. That's my thought.
Yeah. So, Becky then gets put through a table, and both women respectively hold up the separate titles for each brand that they're on. Then we get Baron Corbin versus Ricochet, everybody's favorite Olive Garden waiter, versus the Ricochet. I don't have a name for him aside from Ricochet. Corbin gets the win. Of course he does, because that's what he does. Then Corbin grabs the ladder, climbs up it to grab the Money in the Bank briefcase, but Ricochet pushes him off the ladder. That was exciting.
Thing is, I'm cool with a match like this, as far as putting Corbin in something like this. It's a lot better than a lot of the storylines they use him for.
Yeah, believe me.
Or, some of the things they use him for, not really storylines, because I don't think they really have storylines.
Yeah. So then we have a recap of Samoa Joe and the Dominic thing that happened last week. And then we have a Rey Mysterio promo business backstage where he's talking in an interview. And then Cesaro comes up and asks him if he's sure that Dominic is his actual son and it's not like Rey Mysterio's son. And Rey Mysterio then attacks Cesaro. That's not the first time we've seen that happen before. It's been the whole, is Dominic really your son? He's 25,000 feet taller than you.
Yeah.
They had a whole thing with Eddie Guerrero. But, they had that. And then we had the Roman Reigns video. Okay.
For the 19,000th time.
So I understand that Roman is an inspiration. And Roman is, an inspiration. But I don't need to see this video 50 times.
Again, it's a time filler.
When it's the same thing.
Okay, but it's a time filler.
We've seen it the last, I don't even know how many weeks. It's the same video. The same thing talking about how he was gone and how he came back. He wasn't even gone for that long. He wasn't, I mean, I get it. He's an inspiration to people, but
it's a time filler. That's all they're doing with this stuff.
You don't need it. You don't need it. It didn't have any purpose. I was glad to see that it wasn't on Smackdown tonight, because if it was, I was going to be like, no. Don't think so. Then we have an AJ Styles interview talking about his match with Seth on Sunday. And then, so real quick, talking about that being a time filler. That video being time filler. They were in London both nights, so both were pre-filmed earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because when, it's 2 in the morning there. 3 in the morning there.
Yeah.
Right now. And so all of this is pre-filmed. So they film what they need to film for this, but then they put in that, this is why they had so many promo videos this week, is because they're all pre-filmed. And it's easier to do it that way than have several matches, I guess.
Okay, but just run the show just like you would normally run the show.
I know, but what I'm saying is what I've noticed before is when they're on the UK tours and stuff, and when they go and do their London shows or their wherever shows that are televised, they are all pre-filmed because of the time difference.
Yeah, they are.
And then adding the stuff in, they just film the wrestling that they need, and then it's like done, I guess, because there's like a lot of promo videos.
But they do that every week.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like they're more noticeable, like, on weeks like this.
I just think that it's done every week.
No, well, I don't know. I just think it's more noticeable when, like, the entire show is pre-filmed. So then we have the women's fatal four-way, the 4 competitors, well, 3 of the 4 competitors who are in the Money in the Bank match: Natalya, Naomi, and Dana Brooke, and then Nikki Cross. I'm gonna sneeze. I can feel it. Anyways.
Nikki Cross gets the win.
Nikki Cross gets the win because Alexa tricked her into being in the match.
Well, I understand why they let Nikki Cross get the win, just because they are in England. She's from Europe, so
she's from Glasgow, Scotland.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
With that, but outside of that, I don't think they're going to do anything with Nikki Cross. So
I talked to somebody on Twitter about that today, and I was like, seeing Nikki Cross in the ring last night, it was good, and then they had her do like a video afterwards. But the thing is, I don't think they necessarily needed to do that unless they're going to continue doing something with her and Alexa, and they're going to do some type of story with that. I just said Alexa, and our Alexa dot is on. It just turned on. That's funny. But I feel like if they're gonna do something, they have to continue it. Otherwise, there was no purpose for Nikki Cross even being there.
Well, and I would say they're not gonna continue it, just because that's what WWE does.
Yeah, I mean that's what they do.
And I'd rather see Nikki Cross do something with Bray Wyatt, but I don't think we'll get that.
I would too, but like you just said, I don't think we're going to get that either. So then after Nikki Cross wins, Alexa comes down and climbs the ladder and grabs the briefcase and does her whole I miss Money in the Bank thing. Woohoo! But you're really not, because Money in the Bank isn't until Sunday. So then we get the Rey Mysterio and Cesaro match, and Rey Mysterio ends up getting the win. It's a simple, sweet, to-the-point match.
Yeah. It was an okay match.
I think you said that this is probably a segment that you were like most invested in the whole evening because it was something different.
Well, it was something different. That's what made it interesting. But outside of that, I mean,
Pointless.
They're not going to create a storyline out of it. They're not going to do anything with it. So, and you don't have to necessarily create a storyline out of every match. But I think that, they could do some stuff with some of these that kind of build up to the pay-per-view. Outside of having the wrestlers that are in the match or are going to be wrestling at the pay-per-views wrestling every week.
Yeah.
Like the Fatal 4-Way match was pointless.
Yeah,
you're going to have that match again Sunday?
Well, only with 4 more competitors.
I mean, so I don't know what the point was.
There
other than,
really
hey,
wasn't
we can't figure out, what to do, so let's do the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah. I mean, that was really all that was.
So then we had the FireFly Funhouse.
Best segment of the show. Hands down. Where they're going with this is amazing.
As long as they do it right.
Yes.
I mean,
as
we
long
can
as
sit
they
here and
do
say
it right.
It's amazing, but if they don't use it the right way, then it's all for nothing.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing is cool, and I would like to see them use both characters of Bray Wyatt.
So essentially, Bray Wyatt comes out. He's like,
he's doing his Mr. Rogers thing.
Yeah, and he's like, I have a secret. You want to know what my secret is? And then Abby the witch is like, oh yes, tell us your secret. Tell us your secret. And then it does that like creepy music stuff. I don't really know how it goes, but it does it. It does that creepy music, and then he turns around and it does like the hurt and heal thing with the gloves, like it was the first video.
Yeah.
Where it was like doo doo doo. And so we had that, and then the screen was like. I know my sound effects are really good. I'm like really good at descriptions.
Yeah, you're pretty awesome.
And then the screen went black, and then we had like that creepy music again, and it was showing like the previous videos where it was like the doll, like leading up to Abby the witch sitting in the rocking chair, they were like showing like little snippets of that with like the creepy dolls and the rocking horse and like that stuff, and it was like, and then we flashed to like Bray Wyatt, and it's like him in this like weird like torn up business. I don't even know what it was, but it was like so cool. And then he like he like looks like, you know, cool, like, you know,
reminds me of It, the clown.
Yeah, very similar.
Only a little scarier. Or
He's
maybe
like,
I think it reminds me more of
like that.
Of the Joker.
It does. It's the Joker. He looks like that. And it's like creeperific, but it's like really cool. And they played that same video today, and it was so good. So good. It's like a cool character idea. Like the mask and stuff is like, it's really cool.
Again, I hope they use it the right way. If they use it the right way, this could be a cool
I want to
storyline.
see him come back next week and be the Mr. Rogers dude.
I think he should come back and go, boys and girls, I'm sorry about what happened last week. We had some creepy creature come in.
You know, it was weird because today on Twitter, I think it was today, maybe it was late last night, I don't really remember. But he put out a tweet and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry to Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for everything that I've done to you. And
let's be friends.
Let's be friends.
Yeah, I saw it.
And then he put out one that said, P.S. and at John Moxley too, which is Dean Ambrose. And so he put that out there too. But previously, like a couple weeks ago or last week, he put up one about Randy Orton. So, where are we going with this?
I don't know. That's kind of
Bray
weird,
Wyatt against the WWE division? Does he show up at Money in the Bank? Does Money in the Bank go dark? Wait. I don't really know where I'm going with this. But, does he show up at Money in the Bank? Does he show up at the Money in the Bank match, like in the middle of it, and the whole room just like goes dark and he just like shows up out of nowhere?
I think if you're going to use him, and use him with this character, I mean, Money in the Bank would be a fine I mean, it'd be okay to show up there.
Or to like the Seth Rollins and AJ Styles match, or like, I don't know.
I'd rather have him show up at the Roman Reigns match than...
Oh, the Roman and Elias?
Yeah.
Why?
Just because there's no title on the line.
There isn't.
That's the only reason I'd rather see that. Show him there.
True facts. And I mean, it would make sense.
I think it'd be cool if he shows up in his Mr. Rogers. You know, the first time he shows up, it's in his Mr. Rogers, you know, outfit. Hey, we want to be friends. I'm here to help. And then, you know, at some point in time, he does the other
just like breaks
character.
Down.
And I mean, they could do a lot of stuff with this.
Cool.
I think it,
if he has like the two different personalities and the two different characters, I mean, honestly, it could be real cool.
I think it could be too. I think that, you know, it almost reminds me of like Mick Foley,
Mankind,
with his different personalities that he used.
Yeah. Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley.
Yeah.
He had like 4 personas. Yeah. So I mean, totally 100%. So then after that, we get a Seth Rollins interview talking about his match on Sunday. And then we get Fatal 4-Way announced for today, which is the Andrade versus Finn versus Randy Orton versus...
So basically the 4 guys that are going to be in... Yeah,
did I say it?
Basically the 4 guys that are going to be in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Which is another dumb thing.
So then we have Braun Strowman versus Sami Zayn. The match everybody was waiting for. And boy, oh boy, does this change my view on everything. Actually, yes it does. So Corbin is... Well, the match gets started. It's a regular match and stuff. Falls count anywhere. And Corbin comes out to help Sami, and he does just that. He helps Sami out. And then Drew gets involved, Drew was supposed to have a match with Braun to begin with, but then that got changed because it was Sami, and so who knows. And then Corbin and Drew attack Braun together, and then Sami Zayn gets the win, and then Sami, Corbin, and McIntyre walk out, but then Corbin throws Sami back at Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman puts Sami through a table.
What? Okay, so what was the point of this?
I have an idea.
Okay.
So, he's now in the Money in the Bank match, right?
Yeah.
You have Sami Zayn win Money in the Bank.
Okay.
He's able to go after any title. You have Kevin Owens versus Kofi Kingston. Kevin Owens wins the title. Sami Zayn decides that he wants to go for the WWE Championship. And so then we get Sami versus Kevin Owens. I understand we've seen this match before, but it could be good. And if that's the ultimate goal here, I see why they did this. Because we could get a really good match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and give Sami a big push after just coming back.
Okay, the only issue I have with it is why did they do it now?
I don't know.
They could have done this 3 weeks ago. You know, instead of just announcing people that were going to be in the Money in the Bank, have matches for, have a match. Okay, you have 8 matches to determine who gets into Money in the Bank.
Or. Sorry, this has nothing to do with that, but this kind of just popped in my head. You do that whole scenario and you have Sami Zayn win. And then you have the Kofi and Kevin Owens match. And by the end of that match, Kevin Owens comes out and he wins the title, right? And then Sami decides to cash in on him. And he's like, whoa, but we were buds! But then he wins.
Okay, but does this make Sami Zayn look good?
I don't know.
I mean,
But it's a thought.
He was buried under
Braun Strowman in a dump truck.
Well, and he was buried under ladders until Strowman got attacked.
Yeah.
So does it make him look good?
I mean, not really.
So
No.
I don't understand why they're doing it.
I don't know. Like I said, if that was going to be the ultimate goal, was to have the Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens thing for the title, I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool. But the way that you get there is a little weird. If that's the direction they're going.
They could have got
now,
there a lot
again,
better.
we still have Drew McIntyre to worry about, and stupid face Olive Garden waiter Baron Corbin to worry about, and, just lots of stupid people to worry about in that match. So that could very well not be the way they're going with it. And then putting Sami Zayn in that match has no effect on it. And so, I mean, honestly, it kind of makes Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre look afraid, like they're not even going to win. They don't even think that they stand a chance to win the match because they helped Sami to get Braun out of the match. Now, why did they do that? Because they wanted Braun out of the match because then they know that they won't get squashed.
Yeah.
So it makes them look weak too.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think Braun Strowman's going to interfere in the match.
I very well think he could, yeah.
Excuse me.
Who are the other guys in that match?
Let
me look at my photo that I have saved. No, sorry, that's WrestleMania. Need Money in the Bank. The updated one is Andrade, Ricochet, Ali, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, which I don't see why he's in this match whatsoever. He has a championship already. Let him go defend that at the pay-per-view. Don't put him in this match. Then we have Sami Zayn and Corbin.
Here's a thought.
I think Ricochet could have a very good chance at winning.
So here's a thought. What if, let's say, Finn Balor gets laid out and is laying there. Somebody wins the Money in the Bank, and they decide they're going after the Intercontinental title right away, and then they pin Finn Balor.
That's a possibility too, because it's not just the big championships.
Interesting.
It's right? I mean, that could happen.
But that would almost mean that Corbin, McIntyre are not winning, Randy Orton's not winning, and then any of those other guys could win, any of the other 4.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Because
I just swear to the goodness of gravies, do not have Baron Corbin win. Don't do it. He's already been a Money in the Bank winner once. We already have all these other people, Carmella and Alexa, who are like, oh, I've already won Money in the Bank and I'm in it again. Woo! I'm going to win. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. It'd be stupid. Stupid. Don't do it.
No, don't do it.
There's no purpose. And honestly, I don't think people like him enough to put him in a big title spot. I mean, maybe Vince likes him, but nobody else does.
No.
And I don't really care what people are saying that, oh, I think he's becoming more of that, or he's becoming less of the I want to change the channel type of a heel and more of a, oh, I really love to hate you heel. No, he's just flat out, no. No, I disagree with that statement 100%.
Well,
No.
I think the issue everybody has with Baron Corbin is the fact that he's on everything.
He's on
I
TV
think-
every single flipping week.
And I think that's why people dislike him.
No matter what it is, you can't get away from him. He was on the show like 3 times tonight, or last night. He had a match with Ricochet, and then he interfered in the Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn match.
Yeah, he's
Like
on
3
Corbin.
times.
Yeah,
Overkill much.
I
Overkill
agree.
much.
I think they use him too much.
Okay, so I actually saw an interview with Drew McIntyre today. I think it was today. And he was like, Triple H, let me go to NXT UK. Let me go over there. Help him out. I would like that. Get off the main roster. We see too much of you. Seriously. If you're not going to push Drew for a big title, why not put him on NXT UK? He'd help out a bunch. He could help him out.
Oh, maybe you watch the show this week and see what happens.
You know?
Yep.
Seriously, why not? If you're not going to put him in a big title spot like he should be, which I feel like would have been the intention to bring him in, I'm shocked Bobby Lashley isn't in this match.
Well, again, I don't think everybody needs a title shot. But I do think that you can create storylines leading some wrestlers up to getting a title shot. Like I said, you have your top card, your mid card, and your lower card. And this is where I think you need championships at each level to make it interesting.
Yeah. Agreed. So, that was Raw. So then something else that I had written down here was for Super Showdown, the Saudi show, a match was announced, Undertaker versus Goldberg.
So you have 2 50-plus-year-old dudes wrestling.
So, your thoughts on this?
15, 20 years ago,
Well-
this would have been a good match.
That's
interesting match.
legit what everybody is saying. They're like, so they're facing each other for the first time ever.
Although, I will say this. I think the last time we saw Undertaker, he looked like he was in the best shape. I mean, looked like he was in good shape.
Oh, when he attacked Elias?
Better shape than he has been.
I mean, I will agree with that. I just don't think it's something super grand. I hope they don't make the main event.
The thing is, if they can get around the ring and they can make it look like a good match, I think
Don't have it be a 2.5 second match.
Well, I
okay,
think
because
it'd be
Goldberg,
okay.
in the time that Goldberg came back before, he had I feel like legit in total, the number of like how long his actual career was when he showed up was like 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
Because his matches all ended up being like 2 and 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
All
What
right.
is the purpose of coming back?
Go ahead, start off. I'm going to let you start off
I think somebody's
SmackDown.
actually going to get the dog right now.
All right.
I just heard the leash, so
Good.
you don't have to go anywhere.
Thought I was going to have to get the dog.
I saw that, and then the only other like newsworthy thing was like that Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are a couple, and that was announced yesterday.
Yeah, but that's been going on for like ever, so...
It has,
It's not
but
news.
it was announced yesterday. Like they actually confirmed it, so you know the world was a happy place, and Twitter shut down for a while.
Yeah.
Thank you, Seth Rollins. But now we have SmackDown. So Roman opened the show here again. He comes out, says he had unfinished business from yesterday. Then he brings out the Miz. Then, of course, we get good old Shane and Elias, because you can't have the Miz and Roman out in the ring without Shane and Elias. You guys, this legit was so different from Monday.
Yeah. I could tell.
So different. This time Elias came out with Shane.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
I know, right? So that happened, and then Shane ends up banning Miz from the building and from ringside. And then Elias tells Roman that he's going to show him why Vince handpicked him. Then Shane says, "You're not going to leave. You're not going to leave the ring. Whoa! If you were not going to leave the ring, we're going to make you." Then he brings out Bryan and Rowan to help, and then they attack. And then the Usos come out to help Roman and Miz. Once again, crappy opening segment.
Well, it's just a repeat of what happened yesterday, pretty much.
It pretty much is, and like I said, once again, really crappy opening segment. I felt yesterday's was bad. Today's was bad too.
Yeah.
Like, it was not good because it was legit the same thing. Legit.
Yeah.
Only this time, Elias came down with Shane. And then we had Bryan and Rowan intervene.
Well, again, I think that they don't necessarily need to do the promo at the beginning. Start off with a match.
You could very well do that. Why not do that? Why not?
Again, create your storylines.
Yeah, I mean, there's no problem with that. So then we get the Fatal 4-Way match, the Finn Andrade.
Yeah, this is another one that, like the women's yesterday, I think this was stupid just because these are going to be 4 that are in the match on Sunday. I said, I will not be shocked if they have Randy Orton win, just because that's what they would seem to do. But then, no. They had Andrade win. Andrade got the win, and then they got ladders involved in this match. And then Andrade set the ladder up, climbed up it to grab the briefcase, and then Ricochet came down, pushed Andrade off the ladder, grabbed the briefcase, and ran off with it. Yeah, what was the point?
I don't know. He did it yesterday to Corbin, too.
Well, I understand that. I mean, unless they're showing that, okay, Ricochet's going to win at Money in the Bank.
I would love that, if I'm being honest. What
is the point of, going after the briefcases?
I don't know. There's no purpose.
No.
Because if you just...
I didn't understand the whole idea with all these ladders and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they had the ladder set up just to kind of represent that Money in the Bank is on Sunday.
Okay, so...
But there wasn't really any purpose to them,
and
we didn't really need them.
No.
There.
It was dumb.
So, I don't know.
Then we have a Charlotte promo.
Yeah, she came out, talked for about 2.5 seconds, was like...
And then they showed videos.
Becky is... And then the video started. And so...
Yeah, I don't... Well... And then they never went back to her.
No, they didn't, which is what I was like, sir, I feel like you guys just cut her off in the middle of a promo. And are we going to go back to her now that this video is over? The video was Becky, Charlotte, the rivalry, leading back from NXT. It's kind of like the Roman thing, but it was Becky and Charlotte and their rivalry and dating back from NXT all the way up to where they're at right now and just main eventing WrestleMania and everything. And so that's what that was. And then they talk about how Becky has her match against Charlotte. And then how she has her match against Lacey. And then after that, we get Lacey promo from backstage, which made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. And people on Twitter were like, why was Lacey on SmackDown?
Well, because they're promoting all this thing up to...
No. But
same reason Charlotte was on... I mean, outside of the contract signing was why was Charlotte on...
For the contract signing, that's what it was advertised for. But that just random promo there in the middle where it was Lacey and she was like,
the contract...
Oh, hello there.
Okay, but...
I'm going to rename Becky Becky Blackfire or something like that. I was like...
You don't like Lacey Evans. It
was just the placement of the promo that was weird.
But it's the same thing they did with Charlotte yesterday. She didn't need to be there for the contract signing because she is on SmackDown.
But it has nothing... Okay, so I'm not even talking about it just being Lacey. It was the matter of the fact that they legit just cut off Charlotte in the middle of her promo. They show this video, they show their thing for their matches, and then we go to Lacey, which is the most weird moment in time to play this promo.
Well, the whole promo was weird.
With right there, the whole thing was odd because they cut off Charlotte, and then they showed the video, and then they did the thing, and then they did the Lacey.
Yeah.
And it was the placement of that was very odd.
Yeah, definitely.
And it made no sense.
No, it did not.
So, I don't know. That whole women's segment, not great. And that was the only women's segment we had the whole night, which, no, it wasn't. I lied. There was a tag team match later. I forgot about that, which the tag team match was good. But,
then we have the Aleister Black promo.
Yeah, Aleister Black cut another promo. About fading to black.
How many weeks in a row is this?
3? 4?
Why?
Have him show up at Money in the Bank.
I mean, I don't know why they're doing this with him.
Like I said, it's just a character rebranding.
Well, get him in the ring.
Or
get him out in front of the crowd.
And so, they're just...
I mean, unless he's hurt.
One thing I did note, if he is actually hurt, it makes sense.
But even then, they could, bring him out to the crowd and let him do his promos there.
I mean, they
live.
could, but the thing I've noticed over the last several weeks of him doing these promos is the video background started out being all black. Do you notice that? And as the weeks have progressed, it's slightly, we've gotten like light streaks.
They've added some stuff to it.
Like the background, and I don't know if that has to do with
unless
anything.
there's going to be a story in there with like in the background.
But that's what I've noticed, is the fact that it's gone from being like this completely blank black background to now we're getting these like glimmers of light through it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they're going somewhere with it. It's just, I don't know when. Don't know when. So then we have the Roman and the Usos versus Shane, Bryan, and Rowan and Elias, which is a match that Shane announced right after that segment at the beginning happened, and he was like, well, if Miz comes down to ringside during our match at Money in the Bank is off, and we're not doing it. So there was no Miz. Then we have Shane, Bryan, Rowan, and Elias getting the win, and then Miz comes out with a steel chair and attacks all 4 members, and then Shane runs away.
You know, I think one of the things that people in general are getting tired of is,
Shane?
Just having the same matches week in, week out. Your pay-per-view matches are basically the same that you've shown for like 4 or 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And I think that people are kind of, because there's no build-up, there's nothing. I mean, it's like you just throw each other in a match every week, some sort of match. Whether it's a fatal 4-way or a 6-man tag or a 8-man tag or a 4-on-3 tag or a tag team match.
Or a 65-on-22 tag. Whatever.
I don't understand it, and it's probably why people are getting turned off from WWE right now.
Possibly.
And I'll make some comments at the end here.
Okay, we'll continue on then. So then we have the Bray Wyatt video, the exact same thing as yesterday, kind of getting it out there. And what I didn't understand is at the beginning of the show, Corey Graves was like, oh, wait until you see what Bray Wyatt has in store. I was like, dude, we legitimately saw this yesterday. Same video. It's no different.
No.
So, you kind of trying to hype it up like big time when we already know what it is. It's kind of a joke.
Well, again, it's the same stuff over and over again.
I mean, I don't mind them showing the Bray Wyatt video 2 days in a row to get it out there, but it's like, not even the fact of him, like, he doesn't have to say, like, oh, wait until you see what Bray Wyatt has in store. It's like, Bray Wyatt has left us a cryptic message, if you tuned into Raw yesterday or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
He left us a cryptic message, and we're just going to replay it because we want to make sure everybody sees it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's pointless.
It is. So then it's announced that Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus the Usos will happen on the Money in the Bank pre-show. Now, I don't think they ever specified whether it was for the titles or not, but I'm going to assume it is.
This is probably done to try and get more people to watch the pre-show. That's my guess.
Probably. They don't even have any matches announced for the pre-show. Well, I mean, they'll obviously have the Cruiserweight Championship match on the pre-show, but, like, other than that, they don't have anything. There are no women's tag matches.
Okay, but now you got 2 matches.
Well, there are 2 matches there, yeah.
Versus Usos, and then the Cruiserweight match.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what you want. But there are no women's tag matches. Have the Iconics even defended their titles yet?
Have they even wrestled in the last 3 weeks?
I don't think so.
It's been a long time since they've been on.
The Iconics don't have a match for that. Now, I don't know if this match is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships or not. I'm going to assume it is, but it might not be. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to double check.
Okay.
But if it's not, you don't have any tag matches on your show at all.
Take a step back. There's probably a reason the Iconics haven't wrestled anybody. Look at the tag team division for the women.
They have Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Okay, that's it. You can't show them every week.
And Mandy and Sonya.
Okay.
But I don't want to call them a tag team. And who else do you have? I don't even know.
Pretty much everybody else is hurt. Or
in the Money in the Bank
have been
match.
split up. Right?
Or is in the Money in the Bank
Or
match.
is in the Money in the Bank. So you have no women's tag team really to come in to take on the Iconics.
Because you lost Boss and Hug Connection. Wow. You're right. There really isn't a women's tag division.
No, there isn't.
You know, I never looked at that because thinking about it, the women that were in the actual match itself at WrestleMania, we had Nia and Tamina. Nia is out with 2 ACL injuries, and so she's not going to be back for a long time. Tamina is off doing main event or something. Natalya and Beth Phoenix, they're on the European tour, but they're like wrestling as a tag team, but they haven't been on TV.
So pretty much what's
Sasha
happened.
and Bayley, they broke up because Sasha is MIA.
So you have no women's tag teams.
Pretty much.
So you hype up this. You're gonna have the first ever women's tag team division.
Well, Vince, you're a stupid idiot. You shouldn't have taken the belts off Sasha and Bayley.
You have no tag teams.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have taken the belts off Sasha and Bayley because look, you had one tag team walk away.
Here's my thought: is that why they brought up
Asuka and Kairi Sane?
Kairi Sane so quick?
Potentially.
And took her away from possibility Io Shirai and her tagging up in NXT?
Because Sasha left and they don't have any other tag teams. They were counting on Sasha and Bayley.
Well, they were probably counting on somebody. I mean, obviously...
They were counting on Sasha and Bayley, and then they screwed that up when they took the titles off of them.
Well, they did, but I mean, that's because Sasha's being a baby over this whole thing. If what I'm seeing is true,
she is being a baby about it.
Then get
I
over it.
agree with part of why she's a little upset is the fact that she thought that when the titles were put on them, they were actually going to make them mean something and actually make them an actual title that could be defended and isn't a joke like they are now.
Okay,
and so
but
I
here's
feel
the
like
one
they
thing
could have.
Okay, here's the one thing about that though. The whole idea of the Iconics winning was a shock. It was the one thing I would say that WWE has done that threw kind of a wrench in the way you were looking at things.
Yeah.
Because nobody expected the Iconics to win it.
Well, but now that they have the belts, they're not doing anything.
Well, there's nobody to do it against.
Exactly.
So it's not the Iconics' fault.
No, but they're not even putting the Iconics in matches.
Well, who are they going to put them against? The local stars?
I don't know. But they aren't using the Iconics except on commentary.
I mean,
I pretty much have forgotten that they're champions.
So what they're doing right now is just keeping them relevant by putting them out there and keeping their faces out there so people know who they are.
I suppose, but the women's tag division is kind of a joke. It's
It
going
is.
down
right
to be
now
a joke,
you have
just
no
like
one.
the men's tag division. Maybe we should just get rid of tag belts entirely and just reformulate them.
But the funny thing is, you have a tag team match every week
I know!
that just gets thrown together.
And they're terrible. They don't mean anything. It's not an actual tag team that's been working together. The Revival have been dimmed down to nothing but a joke. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins are the Raw Tag Team Champions? Really? They haven't defended their titles either. You have the Viking Raiders, who have been on TV the last several weeks against the Lucha House Party. Seriously? I don't know.
We should sit down and create our own little storyline with where they would go with this.
Honestly, it's kind of frustrating, at least with the tag division, because they have talented wrestlers, and then they
Don't use them.
They don't use them.
Yep.
So, it's no wonder people are angry.
Pretty much.
It's stupid. So then, we have a women's tag match, now that we're talking about women's tag team
the
division.
Kabuki Warriors
The newly deemed Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane.
against
I like the
Fire and Desire.
The name, okay, I'm going to give them this right now. The name is a lot better than the Viking Experience, okay? The last call-ups got the Viking Experience.
Well, again, you're calling them warriors. Isn't that kind of like warlike?
Exactly! I said this to you in the kitchen when I told you their names. I was like, does this make any sense at all? Why are the War Raiders... We had to change the War Raiders to the Viking Experience.
Then they could be the War Raiders and make it more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense why they did it. I don't understand it.
It just...
I mean, the whole idea behind calling them the Kabuki Warriors and then taking the War Raiders name off of theirs, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It really does. So the Kabuki Warriors get the win.
Well, especially, if the rumor is, Vince didn't like war, but he's going to use Warriors.
Makes no sense.
No.
So the Kabuki Warriors get the win after Mandy got big-headed and Sonya was good and ready to go for the pin, but then Mandy was like, I'm going in. And then she hopped in the ring and got rolled up for the 1, 2, 3. And Sonya was like,
well, we've been talking about them getting split up.
I want them to get split up. But then that takes away another tag team.
It does.
So they got to be building up some other tag team somewhere because they don't have any. So
I don't watch NXT UK, so I don't know what they have there.
But I think they should split them up. In my opinion.
Main event, I don't know what they have there because I really don't watch. I should probably start watching some of those.
Main event is legit just the wrestlers like EC3 and Nikki Cross and Apollo Crews and Tyler Breeze. Guys like that who don't get time on TV ever unless it's in a dark match. They're on main event.
So maybe that, I don't know. I mean, we should probably start watching some of those just to see what's out there as far as NXT UK and main event.
Stuff like that, yeah.
We watch NXT every week, so
yeah,
we could check those out just to see what's.
I mean, it's really no different because
I know NXT UK
is on right after NXT is on for us.
NXT UK has some
they have
some people that I think could probably be on the main roster. Or
I agree.
Like pretty quick.
I agree.
As far as female wrestlers go.
I agree. Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm.
Yeah, I think they've
Piper Niven.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. 100%.
So then we have the KO show with Kofi Kingston.
Actually, we're renaming this. This is the Kofi show now. And so Kevin Owens is like backstage and he's like rambling on about stuff and is like, oh, I told you all that Kofi would never be a good champion and blah, 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 blah. And then New Day's music hits and he's like, I gotta get out there for the KO show. But then he's like standing there and stuff and New Day music hits. Kofi goes out. And he's like, well, I was invited to the KO show, but there's no KO here. So why don't we introduce our host, Mr. Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens then pauses for a minute. And then he shows up on the big screen and is like, he yells at him. He's like, now you're out there all by yourself. That's the way it's going to feel on Sunday because you don't have any of your New Day members. And then, he then comes out. He's like, well, why don't you just come out here and fight me? And Kevin Owens comes out, and he walks to the ring, turns around, walks back up the ramp, is like, then he walks back down, then he walks back up. Kofi gets out of the ring, is like, I've had enough of this, and he goes to attack Kevin, but then Sammy comes out of, like, the crowd or down the stage. I didn't really pay close enough attention. And he comes out to help Kevin Owens beat up Kofi. And then Xavier Woods comes out and helps him, but he gets turned to the side pretty quickly, and then Kofi ends up standing tall after he beats up Sammy and Kevin some more.
Yes.
So that's how the show ended.
Again, I don't think both Raw and SmackDown were kind of weak.
They were.
They could, especially considering we're like 6 days away from Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
They could have made them a lot better.
Okay.
And overall, I thought that they were terrible.
Oh, there was also another segment in there with Lars Sullivan where he was like getting an interview, but then he was just kind of scary looking, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was in there somewhere. But there was so talking about the New Day,
which is funny because seeing that they just come out and they find him for comments he made, like 5 years ago or something,
and they just find him a lot of money.
Yeah, and so I think that instead of putting him out there, they use the video to keep him relevant.
Yeah.
That's just my guess.
So real quick, talking about the New Day real quick. So apparently, Billy Graham yesterday put up another thing. Did you see this?
No.
Oh, well, you can read it then.
It appears that that way to me. Oh, New Day is breaking up. It appears that way to me. According to the Big E's latest statement, he has told the wrestling world that he has had meniscus surgery and he will be out until 2021 or 2022. I went to the Mayo Clinic website and read that most serious of meniscus surgeries require only 3 to 6 months to have a full and complete recovery. So he is a liar about the time needed to recover from this type of injury and apparently just doesn't want to wrestle anymore. I won't miss his beep. That's for sure.
What's funny?
I had to beep because we're a family-friendly show.
It doesn't say liar. It says lair. And everybody, it says lair. So he is a lair. And so everybody on Twitter today was like, I love the fact.
Have you seen his Big E's tweet?
About?
Didn't he say he tweeted it?
Oh, he retweeted Aleister Black. Aleister Black said, I am more upset that I was never aware that you were a lair.
Oh, that's funny.
I thought it was funny. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous. Like,
I don't know, but
just shut your face.
Billy Graham, I don't know what he's talking about, and he just seems to be kind of a pain, if you ask me.
He's old and needs to go off of the internet. But I thought that was funny.
One thing I was going to say before we go off the air, AEW now has a lot of referees that they've announced.
Oh, yes.
Which I know may not seem like a huge deal, but you gotta have to have a referee in matches. So something else they've announced. They announced that we'll talk about that right now or just a second since
I didn't even see that until right now.
Me neither. Earl Hebner is now going to be in AEW.
What the bucket?
So you've got a big name referee.
That was announced 22 minutes ago.
Yes, that was announced 22 minutes ago.
What the heck?
Welcome to the team, Earl Hebner.
Wow.
What they're doing in AEW right now, if WWE doesn't get it together, they could, come on, because they got the money backing them. They could come in and make a statement and give WWE a run for their money as far as drawing crowds and things like that.
They could.
They do have a deal with the UK for the pay-per-view.
Yeah. ITV box office.
Have they announced a TV deal in the UK? Or is it just the pay-per-view?
Pay-per-view, it's just a pay-per-view. It says Double or Nothing. Pay-per-view will be carried live on ITV.
So they do have the pay-per-view announcement. I'm guessing that they'll have something for the States here soon.
Because it's
considering we're
2 weeks away.
And there's also rumors that they'll be announcing a TV deal, so I wonder if they're not just waiting for those.
Well, because it's already been reported by every wrestling news site out there, TNT.
Yeah. Well, and I'm guessing that's what it's going to be because I've seen that a couple different times. Even before, people just recently talking about TNT.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it 2 or 3 weeks ago that I'd seen where it was going to be a TBS TNT deal.
Yeah.
So, I think that they have a legitimate shot at making some noise.
Yeah.
They've got some big stars. They're obviously getting some big name referees.
Obviously.
And like I said, they have the money backing them. The only thing they're missing right now is the TV deal, and I think it's coming. Based on, what we've seen in rumors and what we've heard.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of what day they will put it on.
Now it's a matter of Jon Moxley, AEW or not. I saw somewhere that Jon Moxley could be going to Impact.
I saw that too.
And I mean, cool.
I wouldn't
have a
wherever
problem
he goes,
with
I think it'd be cool. But after watching the Double or Nothing videos, if you haven't seen those, go watch them on YouTube because they've created storylines and it's pretty cool what they've done with them to create the storylines without actually having wrestling going on. So AEW is doing the right thing here. They're creating the storylines. They're creating everything. They're setting everything up for their pay-per-view. Which I think is awesome, without actually having in-ring wrestling. Mm-hmm. So if you're able to do that, wait till, I think that carrying that over into the ring and doing that in the ring, I think would be pretty cool.
I agree.
So hopefully they announce it soon where the pay-per-view is going to be here in the States, as well as their TV deal.
Yeah.
Update. So ATV set to debut on TNT on October 1st? That's from a couple days ago. There's also a rumor
CBS
AEW
Sports.
announced major TV deal 7 days ago. Weekly show reportedly air on TNT as a deal with Turner is virtually done, which was what I had heard before.
That's what I
it was
thought, too.
actually virtually done. They were going into meetings with some executives from what I'd seen.
Yeah.
So looks like TNT is going to take another shot at WWE.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I think that our show pretty much is done.
I think so.
We will be back tomorrow night for NXT. We'll have our NXT.
Apparently Keith Lee is supposed to return to action tomorrow.
We did see
So
where
I have seen
he has been injured, because we've been expecting him to fight Dominik Dijakovic
for the last several weeks.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. NXT, like I said, has been the best of the three so far for a while now. So we'll see what happens on it tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Be interesting. And so we will see you.
Oh, NXT preview. Viking Raiders address their future in NXT.
So apparently they're going to do something.
Viking Raiders return this week to let the world in on their plans for the future. Find out what's next for Eric and Ivar when NXT streams this Wednesday.
So we will have that information for you tomorrow.
Kushida is also supposed to be in action this week. Keith Lee returns to action. Maybe it'll be Kushida versus Keith Lee.
Could be.
That'd be an interesting match.
All right. With that, we are going to sign off.
I didn't even see that thing about the War Raiders. Viking Raiders. Whatever.
You can follow
Very
us
exciting.
at The Wrestle Story.
Yes, you can.
On Twitter.
Yeah, you can follow me at Maven Gleen on Twitter.
Yeah.
On there all the time.
I'm Mr. Gleen. If you want to get information,
go follow me.
Follow her because she generally tweets more than I do. Cause
I do.
She has more time during the day than I do.
I'm on Twitter all day.
Yes,
every day.
Yes.
I do
she will respond to you.
Schoolwork and stuff.
Guaranteed.
And then I do Twitter.
Yes.
That's my life.
With that, we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, for NXT recap. So.
And see you again.
Should be a good one.
Friday.
Yeah, and we'll be back Friday for a prediction show for Money in the Bank.
And we may have some AEW news here in the next day or two. So.
Possibly, who knows?
All right, with
but
that.
But we'll for sure be back Wednesday and then Friday.
Yes.
And then Sunday, of course.
Yeah.
For a recap.
With that.
We'll see who is the champion.
Yes.
In predictions.
Peace out.
Peace out.